Hello there YouTube, this is Sibbles and Bits back at it again. Today we will be playing Spellrogue, which is a dice management roguelike, where similar to a game like Slay the Spire or other sort of action-related games, we have a certain amount of mana, but the way that we use that mana is by rolling dice. Then we have certain spells in our inventory where we can use those dice to perform certain actions. Very similar to a game that came back a long while ago called Dicey Dungeons. Personally, I never played Dicey Dungeons, but it's also very similar in ways to games like Tharsis and Citizen Sleeper, which are games that I highly appreciate. The concept, of course, of random actions or random resources being generated by rolling dice, which then culminate into actions. Of course, this is much more complicated than Tharsis and Citizen Sleeper, and much more complicated than Dicey Dungeons, which is primarily why I was very excited to get into it. Now, I'm very early in the game's career, right? I only have 2 of whatever the heck these dice thing are, and I am only able to go up to difficulty 2, or mutation 2, I believe it's called. But we'll go ahead and we'll play with that. I unlocked a new set of dice for the blue guy, the water mage, if you will, and we're going to go ahead on mutation stage 2 because, well, I enjoy to suffer and YouTube enjoys watching me suffer. For those of you who don't know what this game is, I'll go ahead and explain it. It's honestly quite simple. Especially if you have fundamental knowledge of games like Slay the Spire. You'll notice a lot of similar things there. But what mutation is similar to our ascension or our difficulty level. And similar to a game like Hades, the way that it works is, depending on our mutation stage, we have to select a certain amount of mutator points. And by doing that, we have to select from randomly assigned modifiers here. So I can go ahead and take Vitality, heal the most damaged enemy for 4 health every single turn at the end of each round, and then I wouldn't have to do anything else. That is obviously, severely difficult for some characters as opposed to other. Some builds don't care. I don't know if I'm one of those builds yet. Or I could go ahead and grab Major Vex. Every 4th dice rolled receives Vex, which will, whenever we use it, reduces the value of all of our dice. Again, I know I'm just spouting off a whole bunch of gibberish if you don't know what I'm talking about, but again, once you have the fundamental nature of the game down, it'll be a lot easier to understand. I think Vitality is probably the easiest one for us to choose as far as not adding too much complexity to me describing the fundamental knowledge of the game. So we're going to go ahead and begin with that. And we're going to go ahead, we get a starter artifact similar to your whale bonus in Slay the Spire. And roll an extra dice on turn 1. Turn 1 autocast a random spell. That's not necessarily good. It can be good, that's late game. Whereas this is... Turn 1's quite important in a lot of fights. I think Tidal Talisman's probably okay. I don't know about this water mage, but sometimes the water mage rolls a lot of dice, and if that's the case, then this is obviously better. The ability to re-roll and use a dice and get it back and re-roll it, that sort of stuff. Plus you roll 3 dice or 3 mana every single turn. I think we're going to go ahead with Tidal Talisman, though. So we have a very similar ladder map here. These events are just random events that allow us to gain specific bonuses. These shards are how we upgrade our spells. This is an elite battle. This is a normal battle. This is not the shop. This is the shop. So, if I want to get as many elites as possible, to gain as much strength as possible, we pretty much have to go down this left lane. We also get an unguarded shard, which is kind of nice for that. I guess we can go down this right side, but it's honestly exactly the same as far as anything else that we're going to do. So, sure, we'll go left. Always be lefting, right? So each combat has you fighting up against a certain roster of enemies according to the act that you're in. Maybe later they'll add different biomes which have different enemies, but similar to Slay the Spire, certain acts require certain things out of you. Act 1 requires very little defense because enemies don't really attack for a lot, but getting your damage down during this time is quite helpful. So we are playing with Water B, which is technically a completely different class as far as their starting kit, but they still have access to all of the water spells later on in the game. So that gives us access to mana inversion, which flips this dice upside down, which, for those of you who don't know what a dice is, it would be 7 minus whatever the current face is. Frost Rages deals damage equal to the amount of the dice that we put into it, but we can only put evens into it, and our odds turn into blocks. So very interesting, actually, especially with the mana inversion, allowing us to turn an odd dice into an even dice. The only other thing that you really need to know about right now is this number over here is the amount of charges, or the amount of times that we can use that spell in a turn. So even if I wanted to, I can't use all 4 mana in Frost Ray because it only has 3 charges. At the start of the next turn, they usually gain back all their charges. So I think that this is actually quite alright. Don't want to deal with you. Good turn 1. And you're done. This is asking for any value between 1 and 4. And this is a countdown socket. So in other words, I can put any dice that I want to into this dice, and that will count it down. So if I put in a 6, it'll go from 10 to 4. And that carries over between turns, not fights. And so it allows me a place to put dice that I don't have any other use for, which is kind of an important thing in this game. You always want to have a use case for every dice, or every dice value, I should say. And on top of that, generally speaking, being able to use stuff throughout multiple turns is pretty good. Now, 5 for 7 is a pretty good standard rate for, standard common spells, these white spells here. So I also don't mind Crush. The problem is that it's much harder for us to use than our one that already deals... How do I say it? We have one that every even dice does its amount of value. Which, as far as like a 6 is concerned, this is better than that. And it's much better than a 4. However, if I have a 4, I cannot Crush without spending another dice. And so this is the sort of thing that it's getting into it, but I don't necessarily think that Crush is better here. I also like Encase Azure, though. It holds the dice and then gives us block equal to that. And we can use just about anything that we would want to keep behind anyways. I was really looking at Poisonous Vial. Or Poisonous Bile, my apologies. But I like the fact that this holds dice. I think that that's very useful. Okay, game. I didn't mean to put that 2 in there. I wanted 2 4s. Well, Yeah, that was a serious misplay on my part. And if we manage to make to Act 2, which we hopefully should, you'll start to see a little bit more about what really makes this game pop, so to speak. But as of right now, we're just trying not to take status effects and blocking damage. Attacking him here won't do anything, so we might as well mitigate our damage. There's certainly times where I'd be willing to trade that 4 health, but having this guaranteed on the next turn is significantly better for us. Okay. I think I'm willing to play around with Toxic Mist. We can't, like, hold it right now. Fairy Essence is a potion that gives us 25 block. Interesting. Receive Fairy's Curse. Receive 3 weak. So the first turn, we deal 3 less damage with all attacks. Not really sure that I'm about that for any of these things. I would much rather get a block potion. If we were more of a ramp character, which technically we can be now that we've got access to a poison skill, then I would probably be alright with that. So, shards can either increase the slot of spells that we have, or we can use it on one of 2 upgrades that each spell has. Giving access to another charge here might be interesting. Gives us something to do with our 6s. Adds a ton of poison. Like a ton of poison. I also kind of like being able to hold 2 of these. Like that almost gets rid of Hydroclasp in my mind. Because we can spend 5s on Toxic Mist. I feel good about that. And our starter skills are, like, bad. We technically do want to get rid of them. I'm a little antsy about going full defense in Act 1, though. Like, it probably was supposed to be Toxic Mist, especially with us being able to produce 6s technically twice as much as normal, with us being able to flip with mana inversion. Everybody starts with 1 dice manipulator in their first slot. And then, of course, all the different characters prefer, like, certain ranges of dice. I'll tell you what, I'm willing to do this right now. Oh, that poor little guy. So I guess what I'll do is destroy you, might as well, and then we'll block that. Toxic Mist is going to be a bit rough for us here. And it's not like we could actually set up a kill beforehand. I guess we could have used the 6. We could have used the 6 and the 2 in order to kill one of you guys. And then that would have made that slightly easier. We'll save these. Getting mark on us from this enemy here isn't good. These little starbursts is power that is permanent plus damage, which is gonna suck for us. Alright. Let's take care of you. Let's take care of you. Let's flip you. Toxic Mist. How do you do? Basically just trying to survive this point during which we have the marked. I'm willing to take one just to deal another 4 damage. You're healing 4 at the end of the turn anyways. We have you dead in 2 turns and we know it. So at this point we can stop going all in on Toxic Mist. In fact, we almost have you dead now. We don't, but... all we need is a 6 and we beat him next turn. Five weak to all enemies. Gain 4 fury. That's power for 1 attack. Remove all poison on target. Deal 3 damage for each poison removed. It's not too bad. I also kind of like Poison Fling. 2 damage applied to poison. Like, it's pretty bad for our 6s. As opposed to what we got right now. But our 6s can just go into our poison attack. Whatever you want to call it. Every 10 spell attack also applies 2 days to targets. I'm not sure that we perform that many attacks. Like, this would go off, like, every 3 turns, maybe? I guess it really depends on what is considered an attack. I think I would almost rather upgrade Toxic Mist. Frost Ray, you can get out of here. We don't want to play with you anymore. Sorry, what was that? Retaliate with 2 poison to attackers. Oh, when we deplete it, so we have to use this 3 times. Kinda unlikely. This makes it so that anything can get put in there, instead of just evens. Which honestly feels pretty good. If we have extra dice, it can go into Encase Azure, and then Toxic Mist. I don't think that we currently have the need for that, though. So let's go ahead and buff Toxic Mist. This is an extra 3 poison, which actually scales pretty well for using this frequently enough. Using this again requires us to have 2 6s. I'm gonna go with that. Choose and gain an attack spell. 30 to choose and gain a void spell. Not sure I know what those are. Let's find out. If I roll a 5, I roll 2 dice. On attack spellcast, deal 2 damage to a random target. Interesting. Merge 2 dice. Gain 4 block. These are interesting. What are we using our 5s for? That's what I want to know. We ain't using our 5s for anything. We can get rid of Hydroclasp if we take Invoke Mana. And I can turn this into a 1? Holy Lord. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. That's our block. Get rid of Hydroclasp. Turn that into that. Got my own way of ordering things here. Not sure I'm about Diminishing Blade. Tell you what though, I'll sell my crappy starters for some money. Turn 1, apply forward poison to all enemies. Ho! On 2 rolled, heal 1 health. We actually roll quite a bit. That's interesting. I think we're going to go with the Poison Core though. And give me a Poison Potion. That might allow us to push this elite here. Intriguing. We actually wasted 2 mana there. Interesting. Then he's going to infect 3 of my spells, which is not fun. Especially when it's the 3 spells that I generally want to use. So I guess you're getting this, buddy. Like, I don't think that that's worth it. Receive 2 damage at the end of this turn. Spreads 2 infected to another spell when played. I'd really prefer not to. So I guess we're just going to block and waste another 2 mana. That I can deal with. We don't really need to block. Carry these over to the next turn. The infected will be gone. And you basically just die. Yeah. Gain 1 surge. Apply 1 weak to all enemies when gaining block for 1 turn. Interesting. I'm not sure I'm too interested in that though. If I make doubles of 1 through 4, then I deal damage to all enemies. What do you upgrade into? I can do that. Gain money. Okay. Alright, go ahead, give me some health. I'm not going to pay for another 7 HP. Let's fight the boss of Act 1 here. I really want to get the poison out now, before he has minions. Perfect. We're going to trade some HP here. I don't think that we're going to be able to avoid that. Nine HP isn't too bad, though. And this is done. Roll 1 less die each turn, but gain 2 critical. Next attack deals double damage. We don't really have a big payout attack for that. On even turns, roll an even value dice. That's actually quite useful for us. A lot of the boss relics are about choosing what deals the least amount of collateral damage to you. Generally speaking, it's getting an additional dice and taking a deficit for it. I'm willing to get an extra dice every 2nd, 4th, and 6th, so on turn. Every even turn. Okay, so this is where the game starts really starting to bump. And that is because of these rituals. I have an unspent shard. Thank you. I'll actually take a slot. Slot these over. Thank you. Pretty much exactly where I wanted that. Let's use the last of our invoke mana. I would really like to crash at your place. We're we're actually almost done here. In fact, I think all we got to do is this. And we win. The fact that poison occurs before enemy turn in this game is kind of ludicrous. I don't need a second regen vial, thank you. Roll 2 dice, receive 1 poison. Huh. I mean, I'll take it, but I'm going to sell it. So, rituals are kind of like action cooldowns. And you can see that these values are somewhere between 2 to 5, or 2 to 3 in this case. And so, what these mean is after 2 turns, I get the ability to use these skills. They do not go on cooldown. So, if you have, like, say, a 2-turn skill here, then that -7 cooldown means that every other turn you can negate a cooldown by 7, which is kind of useful to us. It allows us to utilize our Toxic Mist, which is our only cooldown spell right now. We could also use that Noxious Ritual to not spend a dice to get 2 dice. I think I'm willing to play with that. I'm going to take some damage here, that's fine. Honestly, running out of places to put these things. And you're dead. Deal 15 damage. Eye of the Storm, 1 through 3, gain 3 block. Pretty good rate. On giving it a 2, gain 1 Hailstorm, which is basically +1 damage to all skills for that turn. I believe so. Gain 1 Fury when rolling dice. Which we kind of do. And then on 3, gain Concoction, which saves a charge of a spell. The saving a charge of the spell is probably the most notable thing there, because it allows us to use Toxic Fling twice. This is also a 1 or 2 to reroll the dice, which seems pretty good, honestly. I think I'm willing to take Eye of the Storm here. I'm probably going to regret this. I'm willing to take flat damage too over 25 defense. Gain Omniscience. Reroll the dice, gain 1 Foresight, which allows us to roll +1 dice next turn. Gives us something to do with our extra... We lose Toxic Vial for it. I can deal with that. Lose Poison Core. Absolutely not. I'm willing to get rid of Toxic Vial for Omniscience. Can we fit that in here now? Not really. Like, I suppose I could get rid of Invoke Mana. But that's the only thing that uses 5s here besides Mana Inversion to turn it into a 2. Which currently is not great. Do we just drop Poison Fling? If we drop Poison Fling, then we'd have nothing to use our dice on. All of our attacks are single charge. I could see getting rid of Poison Fling for Eye of the Storm. That's about it, though. Yeah, no, we wait. This Elite will give us a shard that we can use to expand our inventory by 1. This homeboy, I do not like. Not because he's dangerous, but because he's annoying. Invoke mana. Invoke mana again, I guess. There we go. Take 8 block. Yeah, we definitely need to add a defensive skill, because we can't gain more than 8 block in a turn. And I guess I'm going to use this stuff. Thankfully, we have a good way of determining who's the real guy here, and that is Crashing Wave. AoE is pretty frickin' sweet, so we're not going to take this damage because poison occurs first. So we're looking at this guy dealing damage. We're going to keep gaining 8 block every single turn until the end of days. I really don't like Toxic Mist at this point. Unless, of course, what I actually do is a Poison Fling here, then a Toxic Mist. I could get behind that. Receive 2 damage when spell is cast. Why? I don't gain my block immediately. That'll work. You are the real McCoy. And I really don't see... Well, if I do Toxic Mist... Don't you die? Because we'll add 9. No, you won't die. You'll die next turn regardless of what we do. So we have an ability to ramp dice. Interesting. Is this technically better than what we have now? It doesn't carry over the dice. However, we can put 2s and 6s in it. And on 8, we gain 2 power. The 2 power doesn't really do much for us right now. If we use that with something like Diminishing Blade that hits multiple times, that'd be pretty good. Suppose we could just go full hodl game? Okay. You know what? I'm willing to do it. So, Tether Azure instead of Poison Fling. Give me my slot. And I think right now I want Eye of the Storm. Invoke mana may actually have already paid its dues. Because we have some place to put our 5s now. So Omniscience is literally free dice. We just need to figure out something that, that allows us to actually use them. Because right now we're technically not using them at all. Sure, we roll lots of dice. Man, Contamination's pretty sick. -1 countdown to all spells each turn. On Foresight gain 6 block. Okay, game. Okay, game. Never mind, we'll just be bulletproof instead. I still kind of like Contamination, but I don't think it's for us. I think we over it. Do I really want to get rid of Invoke mana? Maybe not. All right. How does our build even work now? Let's get our block. Deal 5 damage to you, and then we might as well count down, I guess. That allows us to use that once for free, technically. We will cast Toxic Mist now, because this is what we've been looking for. The ability to get Concoction. And what the heck else are we going to do? Keck. Guess we'll store this. Flip this, gain another Concoction. And then waste a 5. This guy's basically a Goblin Knob equivalent in Slay the Spire. He got this buff that's going to just deal its amount of damage forward to me. And so I just need to kill him before that gets to be too much. Simple, right? Right. I thought I had Concoction. Excuse me, game. You're dealing quite a bit. We actually go for this. Five damage. Just get Toxic Mist going. I think we're fine here. Probably should have eyed the storm before that. Oh well, I guess we're gonna do this. Excuse me, I thought I used Eye of the Storm. Game. Okay, well. That definitely changes things. We're still full blocking, and we've got enough poison damage on him to kill him, so it really doesn't matter. I just have questions that need explanations. Oh, you healed 4 at the end of your turn. That cost me, like, all of my life to not remember that. That's on me. But now you're surely dead. Jeez. Where were you when bits forgot how to count? Interesting. It's a pretty good block. Gives us more foresight. I'll tell you what though, Ice Blast gives us something to do. Turn 1, gain 14 block. I will actually take the ability to put 2 things in Tether Azure. I also think I am done with Crashing Wave. Actually, what's our boss? Our boss is the turtle. We are not done with Crashing Wave. Is the boss next? Yes. We are currently done with Toxic Mist for now. I will spend money for more health. After all, it's my fault that I lost it. This boss may kill us. But if so, that'll put us at about 1 hour, which would be pretty good. Hopefully we can keep runs down to an hour after this. Act 3 does take quite a while, but I didn't really do a lot of explanations of the core mechanics, but hopefully that won't be necessary in the future. So, just attacking this Hydra, the front head, is a little bit problematic, because the fight does get harder after leaving them. That's kind of huge. We actually timed that well with our demonic gift. We're gonna take some damage here, but I think that that's okay. All right. Front head is toast. Nobody else is doing anything. Save this till next turn. Got to kill 2 more heads. Currently not looking good for it. Really would like to not take that bonus damage, but it looks like we're going to take that bonus damage. So we'll go ahead with something like seven damage board, 6 block. getting a little spiced. I think we're going to be okay. Hopefully. You cursing motherfuckers. Okay. I want to keep Omniscience on cooldown. If I was smart, I'd be doing Eye of the Storm before it, but I'm not, as is evident. Not a lot of Rupture, but what else are we going to use this for? I guess one Eye of the Storm very early would have made a significant difference. I really got to start using that. We're taking a ton of damage. We're actually full blocking. Well, if we're full blocking, then go ahead, do something like this. That'll give us a 2, so that next turn we can actually use Eye of Storm for Hailstorm. Losing damage is kind of serious. Does not affect our blast pot though, so we can utilize that to our advantage. I want to gain a Hailstorm, and I want to start rolling. It's a little rude. Whole purpose of this was to build power so that we could do something like this. Put this in there. Not really great, but I think we're gonna have to use this blast pot. We should. We really should. Alright. We did it. Roll +1 dice each turn. On enemy death, lose 1 health. That's not too extravagant. Do we actually have a place to use all those dice? That's the good question. Roll +1 dice each turn. All enemies gain +1 power. I'd rather take 1 health once than take 1 health every time that an enemy decides to attack me. -1 block from all spells. Roll 1 dice each turn. That's better? I feel like that's technically less damage taken than Dreadstone. I don't know, I'm almost thinking about re-rolling this. Yo! Or turn 1, roll an odd value dice. What? Okay, let's be honest. Let's just gain +1 dice every turn. We want both odds and evens. Alright, we need to upgrade something that's actually going to do something meaningful for us. Crashing Wave gaining any dice is nice, but what we really need is the ability to actually spend charges. It may honestly be just increasing Ice Blast, since that seems to be our shtick, is to make sure that we are doing that, rolling extra dice. Sometimes we use Ice Crash, but for the most part we just pump everything into Tether Azure, do forward-facing damage. Omniscience is making us roll more dice, and Eye of the Storm exists. Dare I say, if I actually use it, 2 concoction on using a 3 is pretty slick. Elite, 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 elite with a shop. This one allows us to heal twice. Might need that. Shop allows us to buy potions. Our dilemma. We go left either way. That's when we have to make that decision. We want to defeat this pylon of might in the back. Enemies deal more damage while he's alive. Don't like that. Anyways. Let's actually use Fire the Storm for the 2 concoction. Omniscience. Omniscience. That was a bit silly of me. I wasn't counting. Can still rock something here, though. We didn't. We are full blocking. So perhaps the correct move is just to save our dice. Our ritual is ass right now. We do not have a 3. We can flip this for a 3. Then you know what? We'll just go ahead and throw these in here. I'm totally about it. Okay. And then go ahead, hold this one for me. I can make that into a 6. You can be destroyed. This is honestly terrible. I'm not sure what the correct move here is. Am I supposed to face race this front guy here? Reshape seems like shit. Like, I definitely don't want them turning into a monstrosity, but I can't really do anything about the backline guys either. So, do I just focus up on this guy here and hope to kill him? I won't. Well, I'll be able to kill him next turn, is the idea. These guys I can't do anything about. So... we're full blocking. We might as well use our dice to actually deal some damage. Those bat guys sure are spooky. And I legitimately don't know if I have the means to do anything about it. I mean, this guy's dying. No question about that. I'm willing to gamble here. I actually probably shouldn't. I should probably Crashing Wave. Gain some block. Gain some damage. They're gonna put Mark on me? That's pretty rude. I guess my whole plan is just to face race the front guy. Oh! That's actually quite huge. Okay. This allows me to full block, deal 7 damage forward. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this game through our diamond hands. It's gonna take 2 hours though, unfortunately. These are all terrible. I don't want to re-roll though. Toggle Bloodlust. Plus 33% attack damage, plus damage received. Hell no. Roll more dice. Target attack spell gains 5 damage this whole combat. That seems more up our alley since we are hella slow. This is probably one of the slowest builds I've had in this game so far. But it's working. Okay. We're not going to be able to get Eye of the Storm. Unless... Yeah, that ain't happening. This enemy is definitely punishing us for not having any damage. We're fine. What is with all these 5s right now? Tell you what, we can at least use these 6s. I don't mind saving those. Turn you into one of these. Beep bap. That is supremely lucky. Alright. High value can go there. Screw it. We're full blocking anyways. Just deal some extra damage. This is the most epic battle I've ever had against a slime. That's not true. I've played Monster Sanctuary. Like, can I roll good stuff? Guess it doesn't matter. Like, you're dead. Use Crashing Wave and turn. That was a normal fight. I'm scared. Like, Crush is almost looking good here simply because we can use our spell on it, or our ritual. Well, we can turn Incision into a countdown. We'll take Crush for now. We definitely don't really want to use it, but I suppose like Crashing Wave isn't really that good for us either. Or we Hailstorm. Hailstorm before we start rolling all of our dice. Because then that increases Ice Blast damage by just 2. Just 2? I don't know, man. Upgrading this to add Rupture pretty much does that, but better. We do need a countdown, and we don't really use Crashing Wave right now. So let's get our use for 5s back. And we'll take on this elite. Probably die in the process, considering how well we've been playing. Wait, you're the homeboy we saw in Act 2. You can't fool me. All spells only recharge 1 charge each turn. Oh no. We're gonna seriously hodl gang this guy. I think this is actually more useful here. Bro, you're dealing a lot of damage. Thank God for our ability to deal 10 damage every turn, regardless of what we have. Oh, man. Yeah, we are certainly in it now. The fact that Omniscience gives us block is also severely helping us. Oh no. Well, let's full block. And there's really no use to using Eye of the Storm. Let's get our Omniscience back. It doesn't matter if we use this. Because it's going to gain its 1 charge back. We're going to utilize this to use more Ice Blast, but we should enhance its damage first. We're going to Crush because reasons, which probably should be second, to be honest. Alright, let's keep this going. Oh, Crush got used because... Okay, I screwed that up. That's on me. So I guess we're going to Eye of the Storm, Omniscience. Flip it on the back. Take our 10 damage as per usual. 8 block is great. And Crush. We got this. $29 damage ain't no thing. Give me Concoction. Let me Omniscience for block. Flip it. Flip it real good. Yo, this is a lot of 4s. What the hell, man? Seriously, stop. I guess it really didn't matter. We're going to take a little bit of damage here, but we should finish him this turn. If we play our cards correctly. That's probably the joke. We won't. Nope, not you. You. And then it really doesn't matter. Let's be honest with ourselves. Spooky. Definitely spooky. It removes all negative status effects. That would have been useful to me yesterday. Gain 1 Fury for each block. What do you upgrade into? Only usable once. We often have like 15 block, right? I'm trying to wonder if that's better than Frozen Shield. I think technically it is, but Frozen Shield actually gives us block, which is a significant difference. Intriguing, for certain. For each 3/3 roll, roll a 1. Can I use that? You're not upgraded, you would add Rupture. No, I think I need the Shard. That said, Omniscience being any dice would also be pretty slick. Are any of these worth not having? Turn 1, deal 15 damage to a random enemy. Cute. Noxious Ritual is back. It's sorry for all the things it said. I think Crashing Wave and Polar Nexus can actually be, like, really good for us. I actually think Toxic Mist can, too. So I'll just sell these. I think that's us. Now we just need to make it to the final boss. Eats any unused dice. Chokes on you, dude. I use all of my dice. I'll tell you what, though, that's not a joke. I didn't take the block potion. What was I thinking? So I'll tell you what. This is actually more vital to me right now. That's full block, that's holding dice. It's gonna be rough, not gonna lie. God damn, dude. Nah, I'm not dead. Didn't want to use it like this, but... Three rain. At the start of turn, reduce all countdown spells by 3 and remove 1 stack of rain. Doesn't really do much for me. My countdown isn't that, like, good. Poisonous Bile, a countdown to 10 for 5 poison. Targeted though, but I'm not sure that I even need that. If I'm going to need anything though, it's going to be it, so might as well go with it. If we somehow survive this, I think we're going to avoid the elite. Goddamn. Okay, we're full blocking. When casting a spell, they gain fury. It's a little problematic, not gonna lie. Jesus. I'm not doing any damage to the backline here, and that's kind of a problem. Because Homeboy just keeps summoning a new minion every single turn. What's with all those 5s, dude? Alright, gang. If Homeboy wants a face race, he can have a face race. I can do that for him. Because once we get to this point, we're huge. Holy Lord. Accumulation is kind of huge for us. What would that replace, though? Eye of the Storm is kind of important to us. It could replace Encase Azir. Like, we could technically put the rest of our dice into Crush. We'd hold less dice. Apply 2 weak every turn. Problem is we kind of need to get to the point to where we actually get big. And that's a bit troublesome right now. This should full block us. And I guess we'll save these. This will give me rupture. Goddamn, man, I'm so weak. Probably should have done that ahead of time, but here we are. What we really need to get rid of is the weak. We can't really take that. We already have 2 concoction. So let's roll them bones. I'm currently barely surviving. If I roll a 2, then I will take 17 and 17, which will kill me. Understood? That said, roll them. I would like you to take damage. It reflects. I'm dead. I did not recognize that. I thought that it just guarded one attack. So now what do we do? Are we able to get a kill? It's really unfortunate that one move there just doomed us. Guess that's why you read your tooltips, kids. Anyways, it was about time. This video is almost 2 hours. That's a shame. I thought that one could actually win it. Anyways, that was Spellrogue, a game that we're going to be playing periodically on the channel because it's new and I like it, and so I'm going to be showing it off. If you have any feedback whatsoever about the current video, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to leave that down in the comments below, and until next time, I will catch you guys around.